Hello, folks, and welcome to another iteration of the All-Star Overwatch Brawl. We're on to Season 5. It's been 5 seasons already, my goodness. Well, we have a treat for everyone watching today. It's a juggernaut of the All-Star esports events, and it's actually going to be Astray coming out today versus SkeeCorp. But a color caster cannot do anything without a wonderful play-by-play, and I will be joined today by the amazing and lovely 360 No-Scope.
Yeah, thank you very much, Moxie. Yeah, as she said, I'm 360 No-Scope. I'm going to have fun here with Overwatch. Maybe if you're the 1% of the population that's ever played a couple of other smaller games, maybe a mobile MOBA, you might know me. But otherwise, it's my first time doing Overwatch, so hopefully things go well, and I will see you all after the match. Ask questions. I want to get roasted. So...
This is gonna be great. I can introduce you to the game and point out all of these little plays and feel extremely smart, and you'll think that I'm pretty smart.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wait, what? If you shoot people in the head with Widow, they die. Whoa! Wow!
Yeah, did you know that if you shoot people as Widow in the head during a Zen Transcendence, they actually die?
Wow. Oh man. It's almost like I've played Widow for like 300 hours. Oh.
Well, as an introduction to Overwatch, we have an amazing game in store for you today. I have seen Astray in action, and let me tell you, these guys are memorable. And they have such a pedigree to their name as well. They've competed in several competitive tournaments. Their most recent, actually, was taking second place in the NCS 2019 competition at Huntington Beach. But we also know and love them here at Star Esports because they took first place in a little-known event, which was our All-Star Trials.
Yeah, and you want to go the other side of things. SkeeCorp, they just finalized their roster a month ago for Open Division, so they're a new team versus Astray, which is quite well established. So this is the old guard versus the new team, and we'll see how it plays out because both teams... there's some edges, you get the teamwork and that new feel, but SkeeCorp could very well be in their honeymoon phase, and you can be very, very good when everyone feels good.
Yes, but you do have to remember new teams do have that potential, that risk of miscommunication, which you don't tend to get in established teams who know each other's ins and outs. So I'm going to be looking especially eagle-eyed at SkeeCorp and how they coordinate, whether or not the combinations and team play is coming out, or whether they're more of a favor of individual star play.
Yeah, and there are many ways you can play around, right? Because if you come together as a new team, you go with more simplistic tactics a lot of times, go for the more basic plays. But given that there's been a bit of a meta shift recently, I'm also curious to see how they react to that, because we don't know how they've been before, but sometimes with new teams, you get established, you set your roles, and now you have to come scrim with all new characters and all new people. It's like starting over from scratch.
Yeah, it's not so much a meta shift as a meta earthquake. Blizzard threw everyone for a loop. No one expected that patch coming out as quickly as it did. In fact, I think teams, they got, 1 week on PTR to work out the kinks before suddenly it was just thrown into everyone's hands on live. And we're seeing Reinhardt, we're seeing Diva, we're seeing supports that aren't Batiste and Zen, and oh, it's wonderful and lovely to see, because you have to think about how many heroes are actually in Overwatch. There's 31. And in the last meta, we got to see 6.
Yeah, that's pretty typical throughout all of Overwatch's history, though, but you're starting to see a lot more meta diversity. And the difference is that now the situational map picks start to come out. And when you start to see that, you get to see specialization. And especially with the format, people are allowed to pick maps here. So if you have someone that you're good at, you just pick the map, go somewhere where they're well off, and there you go. You have your free advantage. And that could carry SkeeCorp if maybe they're a little bit less comfortable with some of their tactics. Maybe just go straight towards comfort picks.
Yeah, and we're headed off to Busan first. And Busan is very much along the vein of what you've just been saying. It is situational. Because sometimes what you play on, say, downtown you wouldn't run into on Mecha Base. And there's one pick that I'm thinking of that really embodies that, and that is Farah. She is so situational. She is very, very niche. You only see her in maps that have A, open spaces, or B, open spaces with lots of tall buildings to hide behind. But when you find value on Farah, you find so much value. You get to put damage in overhead. You get to control how teams engage because suddenly they're worrying about how that DPS is positioning because the tanks, they're suddenly having to support the supports. You have to have that umbrella, that shielding to make sure that your Ana, your Zen manages to make it to point without being sent back to spawn early. And seeing Sanctuary pop up right now, well, that's one where we do get to see the Farah come out to play.
Yeah, and you've got a lot, because just the point itself, if you look at the geometry, it's just such a wide hitbox, and there's so many buildings that you can play around. Now, there are some open spaces where you can get caught out, but it's all dependent on where you are and how you position yourself. So, got a couple more seconds before these teams put together their heroes and we open up, but as you said, the Farah pick could be interesting. What else are we looking at if we're thinking about mainstay picks here on this map?
Well, Mei. It's so strong,
okay.
It's inescapable. Even after a couple of changes coming through, you said it yourself actually, you're having to learn to play Mei in the last 3 weeks because she is just that dominant in meta at the moment. You have so much utility, you've got the walls, you've got CC on primary fire with almost no cooldown other than that reload button, and you've got Blizzard. And Blizzard is an ultimate that you have to be able to counter or eat or beat through, and if you don't have any of those, it's a team fight win.
Yeah, well, we're not necessarily going to see the Fair, but we will see the Mei. We've got 2 of them now, but the difference is the Reaper. That's going to change how things work out. And Creon on his team already there. So SkeeCorp have control of the point, and as Astray rotate in, they're gonna have to deal with this close range Reaper. Walls traded, doesn't catch anyone, but from behind in comes Train Cloud. He just gets frozen, and now he's gonna get focused, has some peel from his Lucio, and in the meanwhile, Aphex goes down. He got targeted while everyone was focusing the D.Va. Oh, points going in favor right now of Astray. SkeeCorp do have 1 kill in return. Train Cloud going down. This could be a snowball back into the game. Trying taking shots from a Reinhardt. Coalesce invested into this by both teams, and now here comes back Aphex in for SkeeCorp. Now maintaining the shield. Rafi with an incredibly fast high noon gets the first pick onto this D.Va, and now that we're back into this 6v6, Blizzard comes out with Rari finding 3, both tanks go down, and that should be enough for Astray to take the fight.
The difference in that fight was that Astray were the ones who hit the ultimates first, and they used the full power of those ultimates to beat SkeeCorp off that point. However, they used so much Tree, they used the Deadeye, they used the Blizzard, they used the Coalescence, and now that means that SkeeCorp, they have this potential to build a Blizzard of their own and come in with it when Scripsy does not have the sound barrier, so this could be a very fast point flip.
I just want to see Astray play aggressively because they have to worry about all these ultimates, but look at this, SkeeCorp going in, they're pushing forward as Apex gets caught out and dies. Sound barrier invested, but it just doesn't matter because he's not there. Blizzard doesn't hit anyone. The ults are whiffing. There's going to be a self-destruct thrown in, but still, despite the ults not working, it seems like SkeeCorp was just able to get the kills that they needed.
So it's not necessarily the cleanest way of picking up the point, but they pick up the point, and at the end of the day, that's really what matters. And look at this, the stagger on the baby D.Va. D.Va is back in meta, and along with it, the horror show that is the baby D.Va's just not being allowed to die for 20 seconds straight. And that's gonna force Astray to regroup and regather, but they have so many ultimates. They're the only ones in possession of ultimates. Apex has just come up to that shatter, but it's one shatter against all the power of Astray, and Apex is gonna have to land it behind Crimson.
Okay, that's a very good wall to stop, counter up the high noon, but he still got it. Shatter's gonna go out, and it results in nothing. In fact, he just had his shield down, and so Rari was just able to get high noon kills. Very easy.
It's weird to see Deadeye actually getting picks, but they manage it. And Astray, they only had to really use two ultimates, the Coalescence and the Deadeye. And so now they've got control of the point, and they're looking like they're going to be keeping control of the point, because look at this. They've got Scrivsy to call back in on in case things get hairy and people start going down. They've got Trainclide to just zone all of SkeeCorp into exactly where they want. Aphex is going to have to hold that shield up, but he's also going to have to block Crimson Shatter. And we do see Ryan's managing to make it, but it's so hard.
Well, this is an aggressive play, Coalescence for SkeeCorp, but look at that. Crocher going down and being taken out, though one more return for SkeeCorp, and as that says, Aphex is down, he can't even use anything. Rari popping off right now, as he's got 2 kills in this fight, and it's not looking good at all.
It's so nice. It's so nice to see a McCree on the board, and not to counter a Farah, but to counter a Reaper. And so Astray, they're just going to be able to hold on to this point. They've got the advantage in ultimates.
Yeah, there's really not much that they can do. Shine just throwing in the Blizzard because, you know, why not? Coachella's going to face the damage from that as Switch gets to it with Coalescence. Nice job in 100%, and that's the first point win in favor of Astray.
So SkeeCorps can absolutely come back from this. But I want to see them utilize their ultimates in a little bit more of a cohesive way. We saw it come out from Astray, and I talked about it very briefly. Crimson and Trainclide, both the bomb and the shatter come in almost at the same time, and Aphex is forced to choose where the shield goes. So either way, the team, they're going to be caught out by either the bomb or the shatter, and that allows Astray to just swarm the team and get the kills. SkeeCorps, if they start doing plays like that, then Crimson is going to have that same decision. And a Reinhardt pressured down is normally a Reinhardt who dies pretty quickly after.
Yeah, and I think that's really, to me, is the big difference, is how much pressure can you put on the main tank. And Crimson, he's got some pressure right now, but he's got support as well. Aphex getting frozen, but Creon coming from the side with 2 kills, that should be enough to win this fight as long as they can keep pushing forward with consistency. There it is, and it looks like that's Corp with a good win.
That's so much aggression coming out from that team, and Astray, they just weren't able to bear the brunt of it. Switch is already going to be swapping onto the Brigitte, and I love this. They're not being stubborn, they're going to be flexible. So they don't put the McCree into play as a counter, they go for that shield bash, that CC, and now Crayon is going to have to think twice when he teleports in.
Yeah, this is a decent main wall, but it doesn't really catch anyone. So now, Crimson catching out SkeeCorp, and he just gets the push. That was pretty free.
Unparalleled aggression. That's what Brigitte and Lucio allow for.
Yeah, and that was pretty good aggression. You just get caught, there's nothing you can do because you just kind of get stunned and shot in the head.
CC is very much a thing that many players debate over in Overwatch, but it is here and it is here to stay. SkeeCorps are going to be looking to try and stay on that.
Look at that! 2 kills with the Lucio boop. Yeah, he trades his life for it, but Scrivsy, oh, he's feeling fresh.
That's got to be a highlight. That Lucio just is going to be posting that play on Reddit tomorrow. And if you're Astray, you're in control of the point. You've got a Blizzard now bolt up. Crimson's got that shadow, so we have what's known as the Rhine mind games. It's up to Aphex and Crimson to find this opening for both of their teams. Who's going to hit the shadow? It all depends on which line plays better.
Oh, well, that's a huge shadow. The main wall broken in half. Just enough space for Crimson to put his hammer down in front of it. Oh, and that's a team wipe.
Oh, but a little bit of overcommitment. With the huge amount that you managed to get on the shadow, you didn't necessarily need to put the Blizzard in. And so SkeeCorp, they have an opportunity because it meant that Neptune was able to just keep building up to this beat. Yes, they used the Coalescence, but beat has a little bit more sustainability, a little bit more HP.
Yeah, it does, but still, we're back into somewhat neutral territory. There's a self-destruct, not going to catch anyone, and the hammer doesn't have much effect as Aphex gets focused down. Another self-destruct, Crimson turns around, blocks it with ease, as the only one now here in trouble is SkeeCorp, as he gets taken down. The fight now just looking a little bit sad. Death Blossom maybe in some desperation, but Rari going to do it a lot better, at least compared to Crayon right now, as Rari finds 3 to end that fight, and with 10% left, I think that's it.
This is last fight territory. This isn't even last fight territory. This is scramble to get to the point in time. I wish getting move onto the main in possession of the Blizzard. He might just have cemented Astray's point.
Yeah, he might have, but there is some fight here. Neptune was able to touch with the back cap, shutting things down though. Ice in his veins and in the heads of his opponents. As that's 3. Blizzard thrown out, barely, not even eaten, but still, that's going to be the map as Astray celebrate their first map.
So again, SkeeCorp, I want to see them play as a team. It feels very much like 6 individuals at the moment, and that is the danger when you've only just cemented your roster within a month. We saw that Vinny had the bomb available, SkeeCorp had the Blizzard, but the bomb comes out, the Blizzard doesn't come out with it. And I would much prefer to have seen SkeeCorp try to put in 2 ultimates at the same time and force Astray to make these very tough decisions to call which ultimate do you run away from, and then you might find value when they don't turn to block the other.
Yeah, and really, to me, the most indicative point is that for SkeeCorp, the problem is getting through these chokes sometimes, right? You saw a lot of issues getting through chokes, and oftentimes that's where teams have to be the most coordinated, is getting through a choke, having to fight through these abilities. And if you're not well timed and you're not well practiced, stuff like this happens. So Astray taking advantage of that, knowing full well that as long as they win one fight and can hold a choke, they can hold it out. And look for very choke heavy maps in the future, at least if Astray pick that up.
Another big difference that I'm seeing glaring out at me is Astray have been very flexible. They have swapped to anything that they have trouble with coming up from the side of SkeeCorp. We saw it with the Brigitte coming into play. Not one that you normally tend to see, but as soon as they saw that the Reaper was being a problem in their backline, they took something that would just immediately shut him down, whereas SkeeCorp, they keep running with the same composition over and over and over, butting heads constantly with this mirror matchup. And yes, teams are very tempted at the moment in this meta to keep running with this mirror matchup because there's always that little voice in the back of their head saying we just need to build up ultimates and then put them in, and then you put those ultimates in and you don't win the team fight, and then you go back to spawn and you think, well, maybe next time we can beat them next time. If they're finding value on these heroes, we should be able to as well. I would much rather see SkeeCorp coming out not with something that's meta, not with a mirror matchup, but something that they're comfortable playing with.
Well, SkeeCorp are going to, at the very least, get a map they're comfortable with because they do have the pick, and we are going into King's Row. So, there's a lot that can be done here. It's typically a scrim map, and tell me a little bit more about what you might see on King's Row.
So King's Row is a mixed bag, but it was that original Reinhardt Zarya map where you just had so much aggression. You would grab a Lucio and you would just speed boost through that choke, go through Hotel to just negate the damage coming in and try to get around point the back way. Zarya isn't so much seen in Overwatch. D.Va has very much fallen into the place of Zarya. Especially because Grav just isn't as impactful as it used to be unless you have something to combo it with, and now that you've got Eats in the game and all of these immortality fields that can stop ultimate combinations, well, there's just not really much point having her in when you can have Defense Matrix and Ultimate Denier on a 1.5 second cooldown. So while I don't think we're going to be seeing a Zarya, I would very much like to see the attacking team get very aggressive, go for that speed boost, that death ball, straight into the faces of the defending team.
Yeah, I mean, and it does lend itself to that. As long as you can get aggressive, get in opponents' faces, like, as you said, D.Va's the main one being played, and she's got 3 seconds on her booster. That's insane. She's going hypersonic speeds all the time.
She's just zipping around the place. She's effectively chunky HP Tracer. But I talked so much about the attackers. Let's talk a little bit about the defenders, because King's Row, much like many maps, has some very natural points of defense. And one of those is that first choke, those gates that the teams have to cross before they can even try to think about checking into Hotel. And that choke is perfect for Mei. Except at the moment, teams, they seem to like to just hold on point. And I always scratch my head over that one because you have one of the best defensive positions God gifted to you by the Overwatch developers, and you just throw it away. So the defending side, if there's a Mei, and I'm gonna say right now, there's gonna be a Mei, I want to see them use that choke. I want to see them wall it up. I want to see them jump onto the Reinhardt that gets caught out alone and send the attackers packing.
Yeah, well, I think maybe, you know, teams just feel a little bit afraid playing up to that choke, right? Because it is aggressive positioning, and taking high ground feels so natural in Overwatch. But you're right, that choke is incredibly valuable.
I mean, it's really a case of teams trying to break out of that mindset of playing Orisa, because it was that choke where you would hold with the double shielding. And shielding at the moment feels oh so very fragile, but you have to get over that fear. It is one of the most advantageous positions of this entire map, and so you have to just eke out as much time as you can and chime on this, mate. Look at how Astray are already setting up. Makes me think that they're gonna take full advantage of this choke. Makes me think that they're just gonna make sure SkeeCorp have to pay the toll to walk through.
Well, that was true, but they look like they're setting up by the statue, and it's not quite as good of a choke, but it's still one there. Some weird rotations. It looked like they wanted to go towards Hotel, but instead went on the aggressive. Flashbang hits too, but with SkeeCorp's already going down, this fight's a bit of a wash.
Well, Astray just sends blood in the water and take full advantage. The team just swarming on, and SkeeCorp, they're just forced back once again. Vinny actually got demeched on the tail end of that fight, is having to swap to Sigma just to get the mech back. That is time burnt off the clock, and Astray are just building up to ultimates for SkeeCorp. Well, they've got the Coalescence. I hope they use it to go aggressively, because it's the only thing they've got and they're gonna have for a while.
Well, aggressive plays here. I find it weird that the Rhine keeps splitting. Vinny cannot escape the wall as he gets demeched and sent back to spawn. I don't think he's going to switch to Sigma this time. Another May wall thrown out, but SkeeCorp can't take advantage of it because there's no one left to follow up.
We're seeing, this is why, I've said it to you a little bit in passing, we had a nice discussion. The Reinhardt, the main tank, used to be the anchor of compositions. Now it's very much the Diva. If the Diva goes down, then you take Defense Matrix out, you take Peel for supports out, and we're seeing Astray just have that full target focus, get the May out of the, get the Diva out of the picture, win the fight.
Yeah, and they're doing it with good consistency. Look at this. Chime already on the angle, Crimson on the other side waiting for it, and yeah, there it is. The team's been blocked off. And with Aphex going down, what are they going to do? They can't really commit much into this. Rari is in some trouble, though. He's at about a quarter of his health, and now he's healed back up. So, all's well that ends well. Scrivzy comes back. He'll be okay. And we're in this map, and 2 minutes have been burned off.
So SkeeCorp, they can do one thing, and that is they can try to take on Astray in a slugfest, because the supports that Astray are running, very good for aggression, not so much sustainability. These are two off supports at the moment, and so if SkeeCorp can get properly in for this choke and into a battle where it's time restrained, then they should be able to take advantage.
Well, that's exactly that. They're putting in the Coalescence. They're going to be high noon. We're already looking for the angles, and so this is a good move. It forces SkeeCorp back into the hotel. So now they're going to push themselves back out into the point, trying to mark it away. Blizzard engulfs the entirety of the point. Soundbarrier popped out. Rari with the first pick again. So that's been consistent. There's a Shatter thrown out and a self-destruct from the side of Astray. This Death Blossom finds nothing. Instead, he's going to get shattered for his sins. There's a charge in from Crimson, and Crimson just swinging on pulls right now. Scrivzy's found too. So good fight, but yeah. Another minute, another lost fight, and Vinny finally getting taken out.
Oh, another minute, another Diva stagger. They tried to go with the wall, but that just angers Astray, and they are just gonna see if they can get the May out as well. No, SkeeCorp will live another day, but they do not have access to the Blossom that Chime is currently sitting on. And Rory, well, Deadeye doesn't tend to find kills traditionally at the moment. Can find them if they're all just frozen up in a blizzard.
This might be problematic. Shime's in such a weird position, and he's got no value, nothing he can use to keep himself alive, but I guess he's just going to drop the Blizzard. Aphex gets punished, and down he goes. SkeeCorp are holed up in the hotel. They can't even go to the point. They just get to sit here. And this last fight is almost impossible to have now.
Half of them essentially just staggered themselves out, and with 19 seconds left on the clock, you have to come in for this final fight, because it is the final fight. There's the Diva Bomb. Desperation, just trying to stay alive and keep the mech.
Yeah, so there's a high noon. There's a bomb that's a zoning ult, and the zones Neptune out of life. Well, I guess he just can't live. No one's able to touch the point. 0-0, no progress made. And Astray are sitting pretty.
SkeeCorp, they weren't really ever able to cleanly get through that choke. And I've talked about it so much, I'm very happy that it's actually come to value Tree, because so often a color caster talks and talks, and the team does completely the different thing. But no, Astray, they take full advantage of that choke. They take full advantage of the Mei walls. They didn't really even need to put in ultimates a couple of times. The one time that they did need to pull the Blizzard out was because Chang was a little bit out of position and had to put it down defensively, but it could just have easily been a debate. Get SkeeCorp thinking that the Mei is alone and isolated, and then put Blizzard down when they're least expecting it. And Astray, they need to take one tick, and then they'll be up 2-0 in this series. SkeeCorp, they have to hold on to this point with an absolute iron grip, and so you have to come in with something that's sustainable, and they're gonna be running this McCree. And I'm a fan of this, because I've seen Cray on Reaper, and to be honest, he's just not finding the value at the moment, is he?
Well, yeah, no, just he's had some good plays in the first map, but as it's kind of gone along, he's gotten literally nothing in King's Row. Like, I don't think I saw him get a kill, at least to my knowledge.
Oh,
So
that part of that was because there's just so much that can counter a Reaper.
yeah,
Not just the shadow that Crimson pulled out to put down as a dominant showing of who's boss, but just that D.Va defense matrix. And that really is one way where you can just shut down ultimates. You don't have to worry about getting eats on blizzards, because you know it's out and you can just boost on over and deny one ultimate entirely.
well, absolutely, you can do that. Well, now McCree, he might get more value, but still 4 minutes to get one tick. So Astray sitting still so well. They're gonna go aggressive. They got a Maywall, and they've already caught Aphex out. He's into some trouble. Maywall in return kind of splits the team, but oh, this looks a little bit disastrous already with 3 members down. This would be a miraculous fight to take back.
It does look a little bit rough, and I think Astray will be picking up that first point of King's Row in the initial first team fight, and part of that was SkeeCorp's composition. The way that they run it very much differed to the way that they played it. For instance, you have the Brigitte, you have the Lucio. That is not sustainable. If you come into that slugfest, if you have a long drawn out fight, your 2 off supports, you are going to die. These 2, this is a duo which forces a team to go aggressively. You have to initiate, you have to get into the enemy's face with the speed boost, you have to get CC onto very high priority targets. And you have to get kills going your way immediately, because if you start losing someone's HP, they are gone and out of the fight. SkeeCorp, they play around the point, and when you run those 2 supports in a composition like that, you have to play a choke. You cannot allow Astray to just walk into your front line and start getting kills in their favor.
Yeah, no, you can't. Now, here's my question. So we're 2 maps in. Who do you think is the best performer out of everyone right now? Who is your MVP? I know mine.
You know, I am actually a little bit torn sideways this time, and it's not often that happens, so maybe the viewers at home will be able to help me through this conundrum, because honestly, so many of Astray have been playing really well today. We've been seeing so many picks coming out from these guys really early. Rory has been coming up in this kill feed time and time again, even before the teamfight properly begins. Scripsy with those boops on Mecha Base is going to be a highlight that I look back on fondly for a very long time, being a support player. And keeping the team alive as well. Like, Lucio and Brig, very hard to do. And so you have to play it perfectly, because once you start getting pressured, you start losing people left and right. But enough about who I am just praising to the high heavens. Tree, what's your take on MVP for tonight?
Well, I mean, I like to see people with their heads popped off, and Rory is providing that entertainment, so that's where I gotta go. He's had some high impact frags, and just the consistent amount of kills that he's been able to provide, because it's not just simply, oh, I've got 3-4 kills in this fight. It's, I'll get 3-4 kills in the fight, but in my down fights, I still get a pick or 2. So I like that out of DPS. That's what I've been seeing so far, but I'm also looking honestly towards Crimson, because he's holding his composure a lot better than his counterpart. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think that is a big key of tank players as well. They have to be able to keep their cool because the team very often look at you, and if the tank starts falling apart, then the team tends to start falling apart. But we are headed off to Oasis. And we haven't yet seen Dive, we have seen Diva, but we haven't seen the Winston as the duo. And Oasis is one where you can run just a little bit of Dive because there is so much high ground. And if you take control of high ground, you tend to take control of point pretty easily, especially on this point. And while we haven't seen Farah come out to play as someone who got into Overwatch by way of being introduced by a Farah main and forced to go through 100 hours of Mercy Purgatory as a pocket, I do admit I like to see the pharmacy in the sky.
I mean, hey, you know what? You got to go back to your basics, go back to your roots sometimes, and it's fun to see because it's a very dominant set of heroes because it really dictates what can and can't be played.
Very much so, and if you have a Pharah who's finding value, the team is forced to either counter that Pharah with either a Pharah of your own or the traditional McCree, Ashe, Soldier. Diva now as well, 3-second boosters, you can just constantly be up in the Pharah's face, making sure that the rockets just do not hit their target, denying barrage entirely, or you ignore the Pharah. And I've seen teams ignore Pharahs, and I've seen teams lose maps because they've ignored Farah. You absolutely, especially at this level, have to counter problems that are going to be losing you the map.
Yeah, and Farah can easily be one of those, but there's going to be no Farah as much as we want to talk about it. What we will see, though, is an interesting composition. Chime and Rory on Tracer and Sombra, respectively. So, interesting thoughts here, but this is going to be effectively just Dive.
This is the shutdown composition. Everyone goes on one target and they get wiped off the face of the map.
Yeah, and well, Rory popping up. He's looking for someone to dive onto. Oh, look at this. Creon got caught out. And that's... where did all these other kills come from? Chime just duking it out with the enemy team as he finds a couple of his own, gets some help, and everyone's chiming in with the kill of their own.
Yeah, see, again, Astray run this very aggressive composition where they don't need to worry about defense because the enemy team is already dead, and we're seeing Creon actually swap to the Reaper immediately. Thinks about it, goes to McCree. So this is nice. I would much rather see the McCree than the Reaper because you have that flashbang, so when Rory comes to hack or Chime comes a-calling, you've got a flashbang to put in their face and stun them up and kill them dead.
Yeah, I think that's the best option now. But you still have to deal with Chime. You still have to catch the flashbang on him, otherwise he will style on your team as he's done so before. Interesting angles though, is all of SkeeCorps are coming from the side. They've got the first pick, and Creon taking down Chime. That's a big pick, because now they've got control of the point. They can focus down everyone that's there, and there's not much point presence left for Astray.
So they catch Astray unawares to SkeeCorp a little bit with their tries this time because Scripsy gets caught out, immediately deleted because there's a full team and one Brigida. You can't 1 versus 6. This isn't old Brig. This isn't that GOAT composition support. But SkeeCorp, they've got control of this point. It could very much be temporary because they're going to have to deal with an EMP, and Neptune doesn't have the beat. So they don't have the sustainability. When Astray come in, EMP's gonna be huge.
There's the EMP, and it is huge. Coachella kind of be the one that's being focused down, and down he goes. Pulse Bomb from Chime is good enough to take Vinny out of his mech, and that was a quick fight. Ultimate's used, but still, the investment does look like it's going to pay off as the point will go in favor of Astray.
Silver lining for SkeeCorp. They lost so quickly they weren't able to put ultimates in. So their hand was forced, yes, but there was restraint. And that means that they can come into this next fight with so many ultimates to their name. The key to this fight is the win condition. They have to find value with at least one of them. I'm looking at this Blizzard most of all. Switch has to be pressured into using the Transcendence early.
Well, look at this. Scripsy is the first one to go down, and that could be a bit of a problem. Blizzard used not even on the point, just outside of it, because of all the aggression that's coming out from Astray. Cowboy's getting sped up, but 3 with the Pulse Bomb! What is that? Creon, though, still trading out, but who's still left? No, the only thing that's left is a baby Diva, so she's gonna go play in traffic. Vinay gets taken down by his own, I guess, just, yeah, no, he went to go get a ball in the street. But now it's 85%, and this should be pretty easy.
Well, it's last fight territory. You can hear that tick slowly counting down to SkeeCorp's demise, but they have free ultimates. They have advantage in numbers. They just have to put them in the right way.
Oh, and Train Cloud going down is a huge pick because now they can go straight on to the point. EMP catches 3 and it's pretty good. Shatter doesn't really get anyone as Royer is already dead. Now, okay, SkeeCorp will be able to get the point back, and they invested a little bit, but still, what do you think the outlook is for the next fight, and I guess the next couple of fights, because there's no ultimates on the side of Astray?
The grim reality for SkeeCorp is that Astray don't need ultimates at the moment. They need one team fight when it's 99%. So when SkeeCorp, if they lose a team fight, or if that's map over. If they win a team fight and they have to put so much into it that their bank is completely depleted of tools, that's map over. Astray, they just have to play the waiting game at this moment, and SkeeCorp, they have to beat them at that.
Well, for right now, Creon's just getting the occasional random pick, and that's been enough to just hold all of Astray away. So, good job on that end. But now we've got to 70%. I'm just waiting for these dives, waiting for the targets, and Creon going down, that's huge. That's been the main source of damage, and now it's go time. Crimson jumping into the middle of the fight. They found Video in just a little bit of a fashion. Rory getting caught. Aphex with the kill, and now we're still trading back and forth. Pulse Bomb doesn't catch anything. Primal Rage pop by Crimson, and he's booping everyone around the map. He's caught one. Sound Barrier committed into the fight. Is whatever's left of SkeeCorp is just trying to keep themselves healthy. Crimson has 3 in this fight. Creon with 1 in return. Self-destruct thrown in the air. Doesn't catch anyone, but it doesn't need to because SkeeCorp are just trickling in right now, trying to keep themselves onto the point. 99, and it's 99 to... Wait for it. Okay, he's still here. He's stalling out. They're stalling for successively. Maybe pooped off. SkeeCorp can't get on because he walled himself off, and that's the point.
SkeeCorp, they were trying to do the conga line of death. Sadly, the conga line of death just delays the inevitable, and there won't be any miraculous point flip. But okay, so you were saying that Rory was one of your standouts, and looking at the Sombra play, I have to agree. Because I was seeing some very strange hacks coming through, but some very impactful ones. For instance, in one of those, that last fight before it becomes that contest overtime, SkeeCorp actually is the one that feels the Sombra's wrath. And the Mei getting hacked out, not usually one of the targets that you see normally, it's the support, means that you take away that fear of being blocked off by a wall, which allows the rest of the team to move in for the kill, knowing full well that they won't be punished for aggression.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice too because Mage just has so much utility, but we're not going to see the Sombra or Tracer anymore. Instead, it's pretty much, in fact, it is literally a mirror composition. So here we go. Everyone's playing even. The only difference is Train Cloud, he's on Ryan. So I guess they're switching roles. Crimson felt like it was best to play Diva.
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you want your off tanks to become your main tank.
Oh, whoa, was that okay, no, they landed back on the little bit of a lip. I thought that they were just booped off the map, and, well, Neptune tried to go for the second boop, but now he's caught out just a little bit. He's loose, so he'll get back to his team. He'll be okay. As Chime gets capped to the head, Crimson demacked, Vinny with a couple more kills, and now this should be a relatively easy point now for SkeeCorp.
So SkeeCorp, they've managed to get that point the first time around, which means that they've been able to build up ultimates. We're seeing it now. Crayon has actually got that Deadeye already built up, and Chime, look at how much that McCree is lagging behind. That is the story in its entirety. The aggression that SkeeCorp has been able to come out with, and Astray, they just have been a little bit cowed because of it. But really, they're just building up to this one with this blizzard, and when that comes online, that's when SkeeCorp's test begins.
Well, I mean, there's I guess 1 kill, but it's traded out for a support. Sound Barrier committed now, and there's a lot being thrown out. More support portal movements have been thrown into this fight, and it will pay off and turn into kills, but that's still a lot used.
It's a lot, but you do have to remember, SkeeCorp, they must be feeling just a little bit cut into the corner. This is 2-0 in the series at the moment. If they lose this map, they lose this game. And we've seen Astray, if they take control of a point, it's very hard to kick them off. So yes, while I do normally want to see restraint coming from teams, I also want to see SkeeCorp securing that point control.
Yeah, so they are on their last legs, as you said, and they've got only about 40 more percent to get left in this map. You know, Train Cloud going in for a charge doesn't hit much, but the Blizzard definitely does. A couple people frozen. Chime getting 3 kills with the Deadeye, but Vinny's found 2 as well. So now we're still somewhat even. Chime still clicking away at heads, and that's going to be the point flip, but it's still 74%, I mean. And that's got to be a decent point, or hold.
And Astray used so much. Granted, SkeeCorp's used a lot as well, but here's the thing, Astray used Blizzard. And SkeeCorp's just been holding on to it. Switch is only now going to go onto the Ana, so you know that you don't have to worry about the sound barrier.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the sound barrier just quite yet, but with the kill, it's going to delay it just a little bit longer.
Sometimes you don't have to worry about the ultimate, sometimes you have to worry about the team just getting the kills in the traditional way, but SkeeCorp, they didn't put the Blizzard in, so they've still got it for this next push. They've still got a couple of fights to go, because Astray, they're not even capping that 40% yet. SkeeCorps, they have to be very careful that they don't wait too long.
What's happening with this Ana? Switch? Is he disconnected? No, he's just in the backline, memeing. He just threw an Ana at Aphex's feet, and Aphex got no healing. He just died. So I guess the meme plays will work out. Check your corners, kids. Yeah, check your corners.
Switch is by far one of the bloodthirstiest Anas I have ever seen. I've seen this guy take Pharahs out of the sky. I've seen him do all sorts of hidey holes where you see almost Reaper-like and Rhine-like plays where just waiting around, putting those really annoying anti-nades and securing the team fight win just because the SkeeCorps, they can't heal through it.
Well, now you've got to commit to this because you've got a lot of ultimates and there's going to be at least a rally invested into this fight. There's the Blizzard, as you said, it's going to be thrown into the middle. Chime in the high ground, waiting for the Deadeye, catches no one, still 1-for-1 right now, but Crimson coming out with the self-destruct kill on the Vinay as Rory takes down Aphex. This could be advantageous right now. But Train Cloud, as long as he can keep himself alive, keep himself healthy, he should be okay. He's going to commit the shatter, but he's not going to catch anything for it. SkeeCorp could move in. They can just throw themselves at the point, but with the Blizzard, that's going to be a lot harder. They chose the wrong choke, and now they're getting frozen and stopped and shot, and they can't touch the point. That's going to be the third map in Astray. Win it in a stylish fashion.
Okay, so Astray had some really beautiful plays in that last closing fight. The nano that I saw, at first, I will admit, I was a little bit like, okay, they put a nano in, I would much rather they waited on that one and put it in for the next fight. But what it does is, it allows Chime to go aggressively, it forces SkeeCorp to take the fight where they really should be disengaging, and it denies overtime bar completely. And it is actually the biggest brain of strategies, and I take my hat off to Switch. As a current anime, it is wonderful to see a support who isn't very prevalent in meta at the moment, who arguably has one of the strongest abilities that isn't an ultimate in-game in that anti, coming in and finding so much value just off one hero swap.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Ana is one of those much more high-impact characters because when you're hitting your shots, using your abilities in great ways, both sleep, both nade, and even just your primary fires are all so impactful. So,
well, talking about impactful, if the viewers at home want to be impactful, please, you still do have the shortest amount of time to vote for whoever impressed you the most today for MVP. I'm sure it's going to be a very tough decision for everyone involved because, my goodness, we have so many candidates today.
yeah, there are a lot, so I'm just curious what everyone wants to vote for. I'm still going to stick with Rory. That's just personal bias. But
so you go with the DPS personal bias, I always seem to go with the support personal bias.
we need to get a tank in here for the TriCast, and he'll just always pick a random tank.
I mean, every support knows many tank players, so I think 99% of the people on my Overwatch friends list are Reinhardt players. Because whenever a Reinhardt finds an Ana that they like, it's instant friend list. Every time.
Yeah, no, I can see it. You like, half your friends list is Reinhardt's, the other half are Pharah's. That's a rough life.
And then 25% of the very annoying Genjis who see an Ana and immediately, like a Labrador, think it's an excuse to go Genji and get a blade off.
Yeah,
so it's a tough time to be support, but Blizzard, no. They buy support means loves with loot boxes and currency if you pick.
Yeah, and of course, as a DPS player, we get to stare at the screen for 20 minutes. But hey, at least we got deathmatch. Now, who is going to win this bracket? Oh, not necessarily the bracket, but who's going to be the winner of the MVP? I still don't know yet. We're still waiting on that. So, I don't know.
Viewers must obviously still be voting. I'm really excited to see this. But we have to talk for a little bit about the defeated of today, the fallen SkeeCorp. And I think that the main place that these guys fell apart was the fact that that roster was still very fresh, had to come up against one of the giants of Star Esports. But they did a very admirable job. We got to see in those final maps. They seemed to come alive. They managed to get point percentage. They managed to actually get their feet onto the point, which was something they weren't quite able to achieve in King's Row. They were taking team fights. They were getting first picks. They were starting to initiate with ultimates. Unfortunately, it was just a tad too late.
Yeah, and you know what? That happens sometimes. Right? You come out a little bit jittery, and once you finally work through your game plan, you're down 3-0, and so then it happens.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to be excited because we are actually going to be joined today, not from someone from Astray, but the actual SkeeCorp himself of the SkeeCorp team. Hello, SkeeCorp.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Probably a little bit better than your team at the moment, but we got to see.
Ow. Ow.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
Astray's a really good team. Props to them. They're really organized, really aggro. They deserve the win 100%, but can't win them all.
So, Astray are a very big team that I think have made quite a name for themselves. When you found out that you guys would be coming up against this team, did you do anything special in preparation? Watch a couple of old VODs, try to formulate a strategy around the carries of the team, or was it business as usual?
It was hashtag business as usual. But no, like we came into the game like knowing that they're a good team. We didn't really have any strats. But we tried our best, just going off of like what we were doing in scrims, running the meta comp, quote unquote. Even though meta's changing like every second. So yeah, we gave it our best shot. We had a ringer. A lot of problems came up last second, but we gave it our best shot. Yeah, again, congratulations to Astray. Like they're really good, and yeah.
So, if you don't mind me asking, I did a little bit of research before the game, and it looked like you finalized your open division roster about a month ago. So, was that player swaps, or was it just simply finalizing the roster and getting everything set up?
Yeah. So our team, we have 3 players that have been playing together for about 8 months, 10 months. So that's me, Creon, and Aphex. And then next came Neptune, like about 6 months ago. And then we just picked up Cupcake and Vinny full time to be on our roster about 2 months ago to a month ago. So yeah, I mean, we've been scrimming a lot. And yeah, like we gave it our best shot again. So Cupcake couldn't make it today, so we had a ringer. We had our coach ring for us on heels. So
That's obviously very unfortunate when ringers come in. It can sometimes upset the team balance, but you guys did a very admirable job. Sometimes I think we even got to saw, I think the closest map was Busan. In that opening, you guys seemed to really be alive, get to be quite aggressive when it came to facing down Astray. What do you think changed going from Busan to King's Row?
After we got beat on that first map, I think everyone's like morales were pretty low, so comms did go down. If you watch King's Row, you can see that we were split up a lot trying to push through that first choke. Well, just a lot of miscommunication. Yeah.
So, of course, y'all are going to be going into the losers bracket, but what's your mindset after this loss? Because you do have to kind of pick yourself up because you still have more games to play.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's not over. We're gonna try and, re-scrim, work on our comps, work on our yeah, we're just gonna come back even stronger than we did today. I think we're versing Turbulence, right, in the losers bracket, so we're gonna be prepared for that one. We're gonna come back even stronger.
Yeah,
Well, I think the silver lining is that the problems that I think both we outlined in the cast and that you yourselves just outlined now is that they are very much addressable comms. They can be picked up quite easily. Team play comes with time. But we like to sort of give players the chance to, when they come in, shout out a couple of people, maybe even build some team morale up now. Is there anyone that you want to shout out in particular?
Yeah, shout out to Vinny. Vinny's the heart of our comms. He's our shot caller. He brings the energy every game. He hypes us up. Always has a game plan for everything. Shout out to Neptune for keeping the hype up. Aphex, great job in scrims recently. He's been really popping off. Creon doing really good with hit scan and Reaper. Hyper aggro, good comms, and yeah.
Well, that satiates my curiosity for the day, Tree. Any questions that you would like to ask the wonderful SkeeCorps before he heads off on his way?
No, I don't think I really have any questions, but I do have to say, good showing regardless. I hope that y'all can do better as y'all move on through the losers bracket, and yeah, good luck in your future matches.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're excited.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in future, and we hope that you manage to get those improvements running through. I'm sure when everything falls into pieces, you guys will be a very strong team.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Tree, your introduction into Overwatch casting. Short, incredibly short, but sweet and a little bit bittersweet because our time, it's been very small, but it's coming to a close.
Yeah, it is, but you know what? I think I did a good job. I just posted a comment in Twitch. As I said, feel free to roast me or just tell me something, because I'm looking to improve. I'm always looking to get better. So, you know what? Hey, I can't complain. It was a match, and both teams brought their all. So, you know what? I'm happy with it. And thank you very much for being my color commentator, because it was definitely a pleasure working with you.
Yes, no, it's definitely going to be a highlight. Getting to see so many of those weird, wacky plays that Astray got away with. They essentially got away with double murders if you're looking on the side of Scripsy. That Lucio booth from Mecha Base and Switch just hiding around that corner on Oasis. Those are going to be in my head for a very long time. I might even try to recreate them in my matches, probably with a lot less success. But one can hope. And that will be it for us tonight on the side of the Star Esports Overwatch All-Star Brawl Season 5. It's been wonderful. It's been a pleasure. It's been some amazing Overwatch. And if you want to see more games, more amazing Overwatch, more Lucio Boops getting 2 people off and then the Lucio dying immediately afterwards, because karma is very much a thing and the universe does like to remind us that there are ramifications for our actions, then be sure to check out. We have a Twitter account, we have a Discord, we have a YouTube, so many social medias, because 21st century, I lose track of them all. I myself only have the one Twitter. You can find me at GutMoxie, and I'm sure, Tree, that they'll be able to stalk you just as easily.
Yeah, I mean, you see my Twitter on screen right now, I think. Otherwise, I'm not really a big social media person. I guess I'm on Discord. Hit me up there. I'll respond to a private message. Otherwise, yeah, pretty cool. And remember, hey, Star Esports is the thing. Like, follow, subscribe. Oh wait, this isn't YouTube.
Like, follow, subscribe. All things that Twitch is to. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful. From myself, Moxie, and from Tree, good night and have a safe one, folks.